Well, looky here. Tom Rush, welcome back to Living on Music, my friend.
I've missed you terribly. It's great to be here. Thanks for
Oh,
having
it's
me.
just so wonderful to see you again. Honestly, it means the world to retouch base on your life and what you've been doing. And we've had some wonderful chats about kind of the world of your career and things like that. And we'll touch a couple of little things I want to touch there. But what I really want to do is talk about right now with Tom Rush because I'm looking at a pretty long gig list that you're doing. How are you doing with playing live and just life right now as Tom Rush?
I've come to realize that 2025 is my 65th annual farewell tour.
Beautiful. Like the Who have done 50 of those, I think,
Yeah.
too, in their lives.
And as I approach the halfway point in my career, I'm
Right.
looking forward to what comes next.
That is wonderful, though, that you're playing. I know you're definitely doing some gigs with Matt Nokoa still, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
he produced my new album as well. It's kind of surprised me. I didn't know he was a brilliant record producer as well as all the other stuff he's brilliant at.
oh, that's wonderful because I remember we talked about him last time and we were touring with him and so he did. Was that Garden's Old Flowers new?
Yep, he decided there's a line in one of the songs, two of the songs actually, "This garden's old, the flowers new," by which I meant in one of them I'm watching my baby girl play in the garden,
God.
and the line is meant to mean for thousands of years we've watched our children grow up, but every time it's different. The
Oh.
garden is old, but the flowers are new. Matt decided that I am the old garden and the songs are the new flowers.
Oh.
So I said, "Oh, okay, all right."
Yeah, and then boom, segs into the title. I love
Yeah.
that. And you had previously, I guess it was Voices in 2018 was the pre
Right. And I wrote all the songs on that one too. I wrote all the songs on both of these two most recent albums, which is
Yes, I'm
a
certainly not
first for me.
I'm not right. First ever. And it's amazing that you were yeah, what was the impetus and of the music behind Gordon's Old Flowers New for you? What were some of those moments?
It was a gathering of tunes. I think Matt got sick of me sitting around talking about, well, maybe someday we'll make an album. And he just hired a studio in Connecticut and booked some brilliant players and asked me what songs I had. And I fed him a whole long list.
Oh.
A couple of them surprised me. There was one that went back about 50 some years. The only recording of it was an air check from an interview with Gene Shea in Philadelphia.
Oh my
And I
gosh. What
played it.
what
I played it for him, and he said, "I like that. We're going to do that one. It's called Glory Road.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'll actually be doing that on stage."
Watch cars in, ten cars in, can't be proud, take along. It gets cold in, grow old in, can't be scared to be alone on the glory road. And yeah, glory, that glory road. Sing hallelujah, you better get on home. You've been gone too long. I ain't a man to worry much, but very seldom pray. I'll pray right now, I see my home. When springtime passes by this time, springtime comes that way. And yeah, glory, I know it, Lord. Sing hallelujah, you better get on home. You've been gone too long.
The touring again is pretty deep right now for you. You're jumping back in, I guess, in about a week up in Westchester, down in Winchester, Pennsylvania, right? At the Kinnear Performing Arts Center.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
There's five in a row, and The Birchmere is number 4.
Yes, and I'm very excited about going there, and I'd love to, for the first time, shake your hand and hug you and say hello in person if we get a chance, because that would
That'd
be
be, yeah, that'd be
that
great.
that would be wonderful, and I'll hope to see you then. Then the Tin Pan in Richmond. It still must feel wonderful because it's been one of your favorite things in your entire musical life is to play live.
Absolutely. I love the shows. The travel gets more and more challenging as time goes by. I think for everybody, not just
Right,
for me,
right,
but Matt does most of the driving, so
right.
he's he's multi-talented.
That's perfect. He produces the records and is the driver. That's
Yeah.
no, I love that. And you are continuing to again, the writing was of Gardens Old Flowers New was from music from years prior. Th music still seems to surge for you to come out as songs.
Well, that line I mentioned about watching your baby grow up playing in the garden, I wrote for my daughter when she was about 18 months old. She's
Right,
now turning 26.
right,
So that's another older song. Most of them are much more recent.
right, right, right. And again, you're also doing. Are you continuing to do Rockport Sundays?
Yes, I am. It's for you folks out there, it's a video series online that I started when the pandemic was hitting and
Right.
shutting down all the venues, and I wanted to play for people. And I decided, okay, I'm going to post these 15-minute episodes with me and a guest chatting and doing a song each, and they stay up for 8 weeks. We post them on Sunday, but they stay up for 8 weeks, and it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's kind of funny. I've had some of my old contemporaries on, you
Right.
know, Paxton and John Edwards and
Right.
people of that ilk. But I've
Right.
also been having on a bunch of
Yes.
kids that I've never heard of who are brilliant, and it takes me right back to, allegedly the first to record Joni Mitchell and James
Sure
Taylor and
you are.
Jackson Brown, and here I am again trying to get a wider audience for these really brilliant youngsters.
Is that Monica Rizzio one of those?
Monica's right on there. Yep.
Oh, Cape Cod singer-songwriter. I love that with the Tripping Lily Band, I guess is what she plays with up there.
Sometimes she's solo, and once in a while she's with me.
Oh, wow. People are going to see a little bit of a glimpse of you because I saw that and there was some wonderful harmonies that she does with that. That is I love every minute of that.
We made a boat, my friend and I, and set it free, all on the stream. It leapt away till we could not follow, and we tumbled down to rest and dream. Now may you sail as you were made to. May rocks and rapids set you free. And far away on a distant day, you may sail the sea. And may you sail as the dancer dances, just a note in the river's song. And far away on a distant day, you may find your home.
We've talked a couple of times before. I'm going to just toss out a couple of words and places and things, and you can say everything you want about them or nothing.
Okay.
Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
I was born in Portsmouth.
Right.
I was an adopted kid, and I was whisked away almost immediately.
Oh,
But a couple of
yes.
birthdays ago, I went back to see the hospital I was born in because I'd never seen it before.
Oh,
It's been turned into an old age home.
oh, it
I
has.
think somebody's trying to tell me something.
That's wild, though, that it was still you was still able to see it and
Yeah,
look at the building itself. Oh, I love
yeah.
that. And the Groton School.
Groton School, I was shipped off to Groton. My dad taught at St. Paul's School, which was another boarding school for the rich kids.
Right.
And back then, you did not send your kid to the same school you taught at because it might be perceived as favoritism.
Right.
So I was shipped off to Groton and spent 5 years there, and then moved on.
Yeah, that's it. You majored in English literature, is that true?
When I got to Harvard, I
Right.
was actually going to major in biology because I wanted to be a marine biologist, but the introductory biology course was so bad.
Oh,
They abolished it the next year. They abolished it, but I was just totally discouraged. And the father of a friend of mine, you know, Peter Coyote, the
oh
actor,
yes.
we were buddies back then
Right.
when he was Peter Cohan. And
Oh.
Mr. Cohan told me that English lit is a good background for almost anything. I said, okay, I don't know. I'll go for English lit.
Oh,
And when I graduated with an English lit degree, I pretty quickly realized people aren't lining up to pay me to read books.
right.
So I figured, well, I'm getting paid a little bit to get on stage. I'll keep doing this until I figure out what I'm going to do when I grow up.
Yeah, right,
And
exactly.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do when I grow up.
You're halfway through your career, as you said right
Yeah,
now. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's still surging as you're going along. I love the early recordings. The Southern and Appalachian folk was something big to you back then as you were formulating your early recordings and they were including what you were playing. How did the music again grow to you back then and stayed with you until now?
Well, I was part of the Cambridge folk scene back in the early
Yes.
60s. There were just all kinds of youngsters playing blues, Delta blues, Chicago blues, bluegrass, Irish
Right.
Scottish ballads, blah, blah, blah. And it struck me at the time there was a certain irony and a bunch of Harvard students sitting around singing about how rough it was in the coal mines.
Oh God.
But we figured we could make up with sincerity what we lacked in authenticity.
Right.
And I got swept up in that. One of my favorite coffee houses, there were a lot of coffee houses, the Club 47, the name that I now use for concerts
Right here behind me, yeah.
sometimes, was a 1 block from my dorm room and
Oh.
almost caused me to flunk out.
Oh,
But
really?
the Club 47 not only hosted the youngsters, myself included, but they brought in the legends. You could sit and listen to the
Yes.
Carter family and Flatt and Scruggs and Bill Monroe and a lot of the old blues guys played in this little tiny 80 seat room.
Oh, that's phenomenal. And I love some of the lists that there. As we were talking earlier, the list that had Jesse Colin Young, who were you friends with it? Did you know him?
Yes, we worked together on several occasions. I mean, we weren't best buddies, but I was very saddened to lose him so suddenly.
Yes. Yes. I was actually in the process of getting to interview him for the first time through the Jensen Communications folks. And anyway, it was a sad moment. You
I
go
was going to
for
have I was going to have Gordon Lightfoot on Rockport Sundays, but I blew it. It's
oh
kind of the same way.
oh God.
I waited a little too long.
Yeah, that is wild. I went to the Birchmere one evening to see Richard Thompson play, and I got a call as I was standing in the Birchmere front area there. You know the place well, before you
Yeah,
walk into the main room, and they said, Gordon Lightfoot's on the phone now to do your interview. You have to do it now. He's 80, whatever, and we need to do it. And
yeah,
we talked for 40 minutes, and I had one of the greatest talks I've ever had too, and what an amazing moment that was.
yeah, yeah.
And he was
He is greatly missed.
something else. When we talked about this before, but you mentioned it a little earlier. I love this. As you've continued through your career, as you are standing there now, the influence that you had over not only some of these amazing people who are still with us, luckily. Joni, you and I talked about last time. When
Mhm.
was the last time you saw her? Was it at her house that time we talked last?
Yeah, I haven't seen her since then, not
Right.
live in person.
She's been ill, and it was neat to see her out there playing something because
Yeah,
that was.
yeah.
But Jackson Browne, as well, is still going. James Taylor is touring this summer out here at the Wolf Trap. You were an influence with those folks as well as the Nanci Griffiths and the Shawn Colvins. That had to still feel wonderful to you, looking at the scenario of them now and saying, yeah. I had a little wonderful time getting them going and playing their songs and also being part of them. Give us a little bit of the kind of the nutshell of all of that influence.
Well, I never actually looked at it as me influencing anybody. I was looking for good songs.
Right.
And these youngsters had good songs.
Yes.
So I snapped them up and recorded them. And I guess the side effect was that it gave them got their toe in the door, and they all went where they were going to go anyway, with or without me. But
Right.
if I helped nudge them along on the path, get them started on the path, I'm very happy about that. But I wasn't looking to discover anybody or promote anybody's career.
Hmm.
Nowadays, with Rockport Sundays, I am thinking that way. I'm thinking my next album actually might be a collection of songs by the youngsters.
Oh, wow. And that would be with them, performing with them on the
I
record?
would think, yeah, get them in the studio, let them sing harmony or play guitar behind me, and so now I've actually switched, and I am more interested in helping the youngsters get started because it's so hard now. Back
Right.
when I started, I didn't think it was easy at the time.
Right.
But looking back, if you had a record deal, you had it, you didn't have it made. But without a record deal, you were invisible.
Right.
And the record company would promote you and get you on the radio and get you on the TV,
Totally.
and now that's not really relevant anymore. It's all online. If you get 1,000 plays on Spotify, it's worth, I think, 20 cents.
Right.
And and there's just so much streaming and so much going on, so much
Absolutely.
noise all the time. It's really hard to
Absolutely.
get anybody's attention.
It is. It's a different game trying to start your music career. I recently heard Bruce Springsteen talking about that exact same topic and how he was so lucky when he started in the late 60s, early 70s,
Hmm.
getting going. And there was just, as you were just saying, exactly the same thing, the ability to do things that continued to surge your career. And it was different. Now it's too much everything and all over the place and
Yeah.
a whole different world. We mentioned Monica Rizzio. Is there any a couple other of folks that you've kind of gotten to know up there, and you might bring them into the studio to play with? You're not going to promise anything yet, but I'm just curious at who they are.
Well, I'm not gonna throw names around right now, but go to tomrush.com, folks, and click on Rockport Sundays. And the last
Yes.
8 episodes are still available. Check them out. The new album, by the way, speaking of LPs, the new
Yes.
album is available in both CD and LP format. I decided not to do the 8-track tape this time.
Oh God. You're not going to do
I'm
eight
sorry.
track?
I'm sorry, but I'd have to sell you the pickup truck to go with it.
Oh, that's classic. I love. Now tell me a little bit about this cover here and all the instruments in the tree and things like that. Where did this come from?
That's the fun part. Matt Nakoa found this artist whose
Wow.
name I'm blanking on, and he did all the artwork. And Matt encouraged him to put little clues into the artwork.
Oh, I
There's a
love
little
that.
baby girl playing in the garden. That's Sienna playing in the garden.
Oh,
Um, there's a line in another song. If I was a king bee, I'd give you all my honey. There's
oh,
a bee with a crown on. And so there are little clues to all the songs hidden not hidden, but blended into the artwork.
oh,
Uh,
wow.
I
Yeah.
think it's a great album cover.
Oh, I totally loved it. And I'm like, well, you know what? That's exactly what kind of the energy and the enthusiasm that is continuing with you. And I think that seeing you hopefully in a couple of weeks will be a wonderful, pinnacle of our experiences together because what this does is it just gives me a sense of somebody who wanted to be in music since the beginning, largely, or at least wanted to continue. And look at
Yeah.
what you're doing, sir.
I'll be introducing another youngster actually at the Birchmere, a young fellow named Jeff Daniels, I think is his name.
God, that is unbelievable. How did you hook up with doing this with him?
It's funny. Well, Paxton was supposed to be on the bill,
Right.
and he had a health issue, and so he had to
Oh,
drop out.
okay. Okay.
And Paxton's manager also manages Jeff Daniels.
Oh,
But I met Jeff at a show that David Bromberg was putting on in New York City.
oh my
And
God.
he had a bunch of guests, and I was down in the green room milling around with all these people, and this guy comes up and tells me what a big fan he is of all my songs, and starts mentioning songs that in fact I didn't write. And I walked away, and then I said, he looks familiar. And I went back, and my daughter Sienna was up in the dressing room doing homework.
Oh,
and he was a huge Jeff Daniels fan.
Oh,
Had watched Newsroom, all the episodes at least 10 times.
right.
And I went up to the dressing room and I said, Sienna, there's a guy downstairs who wants to meet you. And she just almost died on the
I
spot.
bet I
And
bet she
she
did.
now lives in the DC area, so she's going to be at the show,
Oh,
just possibly fainting.
oh, wonderful. I can't wait
But
to see her there.
Jeff is he actually astounded me. I mean, a lot of people can play the guitar and sing some songs, but he is good.
Yes.
He's not just good, he's good.
Very. I've seen some clips. I'm like, wait a minute. Jeff Daniels is playing like this? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so wonderful to see him do that. And how many times are you joining forces at a gig?
This is the first time. The first time
Oh,
ever.
ooh,
And I have no idea what kind of interplay there might be. There might be none.
right.
He does his thing, I do my thing, but I'm going to try to get him on stage to
Oh gosh. Well, that would be
actually. I got Jackson Browne on stage with me a few months ago. I wanted to show him how these days ought to be done.
perfect. That's
He took it well.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he loved that moment, and I'm really going to be excited to hopefully see you at the Birchmere. You know that we lost Gary Olsey.
I know,
Yeah,
very, very sad.
that was tough. I had just
But
started to bond with him a little bit more. And they just wrote the book, All Roads Lead to the Birchmere, and we had a wonderful tour walk around and did the show together like that. And then he passed about 6 months later. But having you at the Birchmere is going to be a joy for everybody. I'm sure it's going to be a packed house and a wonderful night. And then again, you go to Richmond, you go to Beverly, you go to Connecticut, my home state, Old Saybrook, for the Catherine Hepburn Cultural Arts Center.
the
The
Kate, as they
Kate,
call it.
right, Kate Hepburn, Emlyn Theater, and so again, Tom, the touring is continuing. I
Go
just
to
love it.
tomrush.com, folks. Click on shows.
Yeah.
It'll drop down menu that'll take you right to the ticket page of whatever show you like to come to.
Yeah, and that's what I hope to do, sir, is to finally meet you in person at the Birchmere. And again, best of luck with this tour, the record. I love the new thing that sounds like you might be bringing some of the youngsters in if that works, and you'll keep me posted, I hope, on that. At least John Lappin and you will. But let's keep it.
So far it's just an idea, but you'll be
Oh,
the first to know.
I love there was a little bit of a mention to it, and we'll see if it comes forth. But thanks so much, and good luck with the tour. Good luck with everything, and it is a joy to have you on Living on Music, sir.
My pleasure entirely. Thanks so much. I'll look forward to next time.
I hope I see you at the Birchmere.
It's a date.
You bet.